In this video, we're going to go over the basic adjustment parameters for making some basic animations. So I've made my composition, and I have this image of Jupiter here. And when you drop your image onto the layer palette here, we can see uh, when we drop this down, we have these transform properties. And anything that has we can add a keyframe to will have a little stopwatch. And you can see we have anchor point, position, scale, rotation, and opacity. If it helps you to remember those, A is for anchor point. That'll give you the keyboard command for that. So you got anchor point, position, P for position, S for scale, and then T for opacity, and then R for rotation. So sometimes it helps if that's all you want to see. Well, let's just start with the anchor point. And you can see the anchor point right here is centered in the center of the object. And we can move that around because sometimes we want the other animation, scale, rotate, and position all use that anchor point as their reference point. So you can use this tool here, the pan behind tool or the anchor point tool, and you can move that tool if you need to. So we'll do that later and show you where that works. But let's just start with a basic position. So if I wanted to say, let's start where it is, I can just click the stopwatch and it creates a keyframe. And then I can move my timeline down a little bit. And then I can actually just I'm going to use my move tool or selection tool. I can just move the object, and you can see it creates a new time or a new keyframe. So what's happening is that it's moving that from one point to the other. So the position, its coordinates change from this keyframe to that keyframe. So, to test that, to make sure everything you can actually see your animation is under the preview window, you can hit play. I've got mine set up to do a full screen. You can just hit play and it will show you what's going on. Spacebar will activate that as well. So it also is important if you've got your comp at 100%, it will display your preview at whatever percentage you have there. So. Excuse me. So the next state that we want, so that's just the move, the position. If we go under opacity, so I can have this fade. So right now it's at 100%. If I move it down the timeline, I could then have it fade out. And so now what's going to happen is it's going to slowly fade from 100% to 0 over those seconds. It will gently fade out. So that's opacity. Rotation. So if we wanted to add a rotation, we can click that. And down the line, we can change its angle. It'll rotate one way or the other. Now we can also say, I just want it to rotate 3 times. And so what it will do is it will basically do 360 degrees by 3. So you can see that it's going to rotate three times from this point to that point. So those keyframes. And you can see that it's not completely perfect because it rotates a little bit funny. So that's rotation. And then scale. Again, scale, if it's 100%, I could scale it down at this point. And so over time, it will get smaller. Now we need to be careful with pixel images and video images because if we scale them up, they might fall apart because of the pixels. So you have to be careful with that. And then the anchor point, we'll show you that in a later video on how to animate the anchor point. But most of the time I keep it kind of where it needs to be. Now, if we wanted to do a different animation, say I wanted to scale, or let's say we wanted to rotate around something. So if I had a rotation, let's move the anchor point, I'll show you that. But you can see now the anchor point is moved, the rotation moves around that anchor point. Zoom in on that again. So you can see that that rotation happens there. So again, it's important to recognize where that anchor point is, because both the scale and rotation happen from that anchor point, and as well as the position that it positions the object based on those coordinates. So those are your basic animations parameters. We'll get into more as we go along.